Hello there. You're welcome back to our channel to continue with our series of teachings on relationships and family life. Of course, by now you do know that this is passionate to our hearts, and by the grace of God, we want to do everything possible on whatever we can do on our own part to contribute to good relationship, especially marital relationships. And so today, again, we are going to continue with one of the series, and this is titled 15 Proven Ways to Supercharge Your Relationships with Joy and Harmony. 15 Proven Ways to Supercharge Your Relationships with Joy and Family. Lord, thank you for helping us as we go on right now. Let your spirit possess us, possess the listener, and those who are watching. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, friend, welcome back. Welcome back. It is important for me to set the ball rolling by stating that nothing in this life, nothing works on its own. Everything that you see working is being worked out by someone, and someone, of course, who understands the purpose for working out what is working out. And so nothing just happens. Everything is called to happen. That's why there's what is called the law of cause and effect. Whatever is an effect has been caused by something. And this is what applies also to our relationships. Your relationship, it's important that you understand that your relationship cannot just work. It cannot just become blissful. Today we're dealing with the 15 proven ways, tested and proven ways, that can supercharge your relationships. I do. Perhaps you are still, in the boarding stage, still brooding the relationship, or maybe you're already married and enjoying your family. This is good enough. We're going to be looking at 15 things that could help you to make it better. But if you're not enjoying your family at all, these 15 things could be very useful to you. It's not about the watching. It's not about listening. It's about the action, putting into practice what you learned today. So, having prayed, let's begin by looking at these things. The point number one that I want to mention of the 15 things is that there must be a proper understanding, an implementation of the 3 do's in a family. There are 3 do's in a family. You must understand these 3 do's properly, and then you and implement them. Of course, you're going to have a supercharged, family. One of the 3 do's is the must do's. There are things that are must do's, and there are things that should do, and there are things that could do. Things that must do's. The must do's, the should do's, and the could do's. Every family who understands this, and every individual who understands this, takes responsibility in setting things in order. Set things in order as to what should belong to the class of the must do's, and what should also come under the class of the should do's, and of course things that will come under the class of the could do's. Now, this is important because if things are not classified well, they will not be properly, if they are not properly prioritized, then a wrong order can create chaos in a family, in a relationship. There are things that must be done. There are things that, should be done, and there are things that could be done. They may be done, may not be done. Every family should take responsibility in classifying these things properly, to show what belongs to this class. And every person in the family take responsibility in implementing these things. Must do, must be done. Should do, should be done. Could do is a probability. Nobody's going to fight and quarrel too much on could do, because there was this provision for maybe or maybe not. But for things that must be done, and there are several things in a family that must be done. Take responsibility as leaders of the family, as member of the partnership, and determine what is a must do. In my own home, there are must do's, like things like a prayer altar is a must do. It's a compulsory thing, sick or not sick, quarreling or not quarreling is a must do. There are things that study is a must do, not things that should do or could do. It's a must do because knowledge advances and improves one. So please, let's look at these things. Supercharge your family by understanding these three categories of do's. Okay. Now, point number 2 is you attend to your spouse or your partner in relationship on the basis of these 4 areas. If you don't understand these 4 areas, you are likely to have not quite a blissful home. Now, every human being, as you see, is tripartite in nation. It's primarily a spirit being. He has a soul and he lives in the body. But these 4 areas are important for your partner. You must understand them. First, I like to call on the spiritual need of your partner. There's a spiritual need in your partner, and that has to do with the spirit being. Nothing fills a person than his creator. Nothing in this world fills a person up in that spiritual area. You could buy all the food in the house and pay all the money of the traveling around the world and all of that, but as long as there's an emptiness in his spirit, emptiness and lack of connection to his creator, his God, then that satisfaction will not be maximum as you expect. You'll be wondering, I'm spending so much money, I'm giving enough attention to my spouse, I'm caring so much. What's happening? He's neglected the most important thing, and that is the spirit nature of a person. Okay, then the B part of it, I mentioned these 4 areas. Area 1 is the spiritual need of the person. Area 2 is the emotional need of the person. Emotional need of the person, and sometimes just hello, how do you do, look beautiful, look good. Some of these affirmations are important. In emotional need, sometimes just a touch is enough, to say, this is good, this hair is good, and all of that. It's emotional need of a person, and it's important to understand the supercharges of family. Okay, the third area is the intellectual need of a person. Fill that person up, give that person opportunity, even if it's a child. Give an opportunity to increase his intellect, increase his knowledge content. Of course, that is going to help the person to behave better, because the higher the knowledge content, the better the behavior of your spouse. So give opportunity for the intellect of the person, his mentality to improve, even by study and by learning. Then next is the physical or material provisions. Physical, material need. These 4 areas are important. You can't neglect any one of them. In fact, I'm going through the 4 again. I started by saying the spiritual need of the person. Psalm 127, that's why it said, except the Lord build a house, the labor in vain that build it. The labor in vain. Do you understand that? The labor in vain that build it. So except the Lord builds your house, except the Lord builds your relationship, you labor in vain. Allow God. The spiritual need must be met. It's not cheap, it's not Jewish, or any of these things that trash that people attribute to being a child of God, confident child of God in good relationship with God. It's not any of those demeaning things that they're talking about. It's about priority. The priority is that the spirit being must be filled. All right. So we'll look at the physical aspect, we'll look at the emotional aspect of it, and then look at the intellectual aspect of it, and we're also looking at the physical and the material things. That materially there must be provision. There are material needs for your partner, and these have to be met. Okay. This is part of what we are saying, that we're looking at the 15 things that supercharge, your relationships to make it better. Then point number 3 will be the knowledge and, knowledge-based communication, healthy communication. Knowledge-based healthy communication. Otherwise, call it intelligent or informed communication. Intelligent or informed communication. Now, it's important that while your spouse gives you a listening attention, which is very, very important. The listening attention is difficult to get. It's hard to get. And so while your spouse gives you a listening attention, it's important that you make that time quite useful. Let it the content be a high content time. How do you do this? By discussing or raising issues and talking intelligently. How can you do this? By prayer preparation. Now he says, it's not my husband, it's not my wife, I can just put it. No, 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 no. You prepare so that you can know how to present what you need to present in the atmosphere it ought to be for it to hit the right, bell. Do you understand what we're saying? PPPP, 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if your spouse gives you listening attention, you don't have all the time in the world to give you to talk what you want to talk. Organize yourself, prepare yourself, ask intelligent and informed questions that will make communication healthy. Else he'll be withdrawn. He'll be withdrawn. The fact out you've not started is already tired out, and he's not giving you so much of time, and he's reluctant in giving you so much of time because you're not organized enough. You've not researched enough what you want to discuss, what you're thinking about, that you want to present before him, what you want to table before him or her. These things have to be researched and then thought of. When you do this, there will be a healthy communication, healthy interaction in the home. And we all know that the healthy communication is very, very beneficial to everybody. Everybody wins when there's a healthy communication. But how do we bring this about? By what? Intelligently. Research on what you want to discuss. Ask questions yourself. Find answers to some. It's when you cannot find answers to some, you table before your partner. Or even if you found answers to some of the questions you wanted to ask about the issue, then you're just going to come in, let your partner, bring his own, and you add to what you already have. But you just come to the table with nothing in your heart, nothing in your mind. It's going to be a confused session. That's not good enough. You're not going to charge your family up. Okay? God bless God. Point number four. In-laws handling in a home is very, very important. A family that is well-to-do in terms of financial provisions can have issues if the issue of what? Handling in-laws not properly, taken care of. That's why we keep saying in the course of courtship, these are things that are to be discussed. How do you handle your in-laws? There has to be mutual respect, for the in-laws on both sides, in-laws to the man and in-laws to the woman. If you don't respect your in-laws and you just think that, well, I'm married to my man, you have issues. It will get to a time your man gets up and says, you don't have respect for my mom. You don't have respect for any of my people. Why are you here? And of course, sometimes this happens when you already drop 3, 4, 5 children there. And you're no longer the same way you came into the home. So you'll be saying, I'm only staying here because of my children. You're not enjoying the marriage anymore. There's no blissfulness in the marriage anymore. For that not to happen, there must be a prayer discussion on handling of in-laws. And, in-laws could be very useful. They could be very, very useful if they are properly, handled in a home, in a relationship. They are additional, some sort of emotional support. Some of them can be available, for house chores and, child care. They have parental support you can get from in-laws. If there's open discussion, open dialogue between, partners in relationship concerning in-laws. Don't leave things to chance. This can ruin the relationship. This can ruin the marriage. This can ruin a partnership. Don't have respect for my people. Why? Okay, if that's the case, then I will also listen. I won't listen to your parents. I won't attend to the need of your parents and all of that. And before you know, things go awry. So it's important to handle the in-laws issues properly. If you must have your marriage supercharged, this is the importance of this video at this point in time. Let's look at point number 5. I'm racing against time. Point number 5, love and mutual submission. It's important. Love and mutual submission. If you're going to have your marriage supercharged, oh God, love and mutual submission. All right, now I know the Bible talks in Ephesians chapter 5 when it's talking about men love your wives. That's correct. It's either you love your wife or your partner, it's either you love delightfully if she has pleased you, or you're under compulsion to love her dutifully if she has displeased you or she's not pleasant to you at the moment because of one issue or the other. You still must love her, but this time dutifully. All right. Now, what about the submission? Hey, the woman is submit to submit. That's what the Bible says. Ephesians 5:21 talks about it. Women, submit to your own husbands. Okay, your own husband. The emphasis is your own first, before the pastor or anybody else. Okay, but let's look at submission. It is also a mutual submission. It says submitting yourselves one to another. That's what scripture says, Ephesians 5:21. If you believe scripture that says, men, love your wives, you should also believe verse 21, which says that there should be mutual submission. That's to say, man, there's a time to submit to your wife, there's a time to submit to your man. I mean, this submitting thing is very important in a home, because if a man wants to be ahead over what he does not even understand in the home, there's going to be crisis. There's going to be real crisis. And then also there has to be change in the language that is being used. No longer an I thing, it's a love language, it's a we thing, and it's a together thing, it's an us thing. And I think I remember, yes, it was Gary Chapman who gave five love languages. Gary Chapman gave five love languages. He talks, number one, he talks in terms of affirmation, that there must be affirmation between your partner. Affirm your partner, praise your partner. Then he talks in terms of the quality of time that you spend together, quality of time that is spent together. And then the third thing, like Chapman mentioned, was the exchange of gifts. So exchange of gifts, very important to supercharge, your marriage. And then fourthly, he mentioned the acts of service. Acts of service. Serve one another, one way or the other. Serve one another. That's the point. Attend to your partner. If she's sick or he's sick, attend to him very well. Act of service, even in the home, let there be help the woman at home, and then the woman also help the man in his own kind of work. So that act of service. And lastly, among the five things that Gary Chapman mentioned his five languages of love is physical touch. So what are the five things? Number one is affirmation. The other one is quality time. Spend quality time together. And then thirdly, it talks of exchange of gifts, acts of service, and then finally, physical touch. These things supercharge any relationship any day. God will help us in Jesus' name. Okay. Now let's quickly look at point number six, what I call the OBC concept. OBC concept. What does that mean? To me, it means obey before complain concept. That concept of obeying before complain is very important for a partner. Obey, especially those women, females, obey your man before you complain. You might have better points, better reasons, but say, okay, I'm going to do this, then we can talk about it later. After all, he's going to bear the brunt. If anything goes wrong, he's the one that takes responsibility. So obey before complain. OBC concept, supercharges any family, anytime, any day. And any man feels elated, feels good. He feels his ego is respected. He feels, that he's honored by his spouse. To be obeyed, even if she has complained or have issues to raise. And that's one of the reasons why in the military setting, and even in the paramilitary setting where I belong, obey before complain is the order of the day. It supercharges and respects authority, and helps the marriage, to go on. It also helps in reducing conflict, promotes harmony, and all that. It helps in it reduces the conflict in the home. You won't listen. You just won't listen. Woman, you just won't listen until things go bad, and the man, packs you from his heart into his house. You can be in your husband's house, but not in his heart. But if you apply the OBC concept, obey before complain concept, after you obeyed, see this way, things didn't work out quite well, call his attention to it. He is going to listen to you carefully, provided you're properly, organized. What about the phrase that sometimes we say, yes, but? Yes, sir, but do you think we can do it this way? Yes, but. It's a very, very important, a point to raise, on way to handle issues of obedience in the sometimes an issue that you think, you the woman thinks, or one of the partners think it's not going to work out that way, but he wants you to do it. I will do it. Yes, but we'll look at it later. We'll talk about it later. And so this is what we are saying. It's important to apply the OBC concept in your marriage. Your marriage will be supercharged with joy and harmony. Supercharged with joy and harmony. Let's look at point number 7. Point number 7, sensitivity to the verbal and non-verbal, speeches. There are times, that all you will have from your spouse is what is called non-verbal speech, non-verbal comments. Not going to be saying anything. It's just looking at you. It's just his attitude you read. Mood swings for everybody. Not only the women, men have mood swings. They have mood swings. How do you know? Do you agree with me? There are times your husband will say, I like this kind of food, or I like this thing. And there's some other times he comes up and says, I don't seem to like this anymore. It's a mood swing. It happens to both men and women. And we need to avoid those times of, irritation tantrum that we experience here and there, because we do not understand what the mood swing that has taken place. We're not sensitive, to this non-verbal communication that is going on in our homes. It takes time. Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it said it's time for everything. A time to keep quiet, a time to speak, a time to die. There's a time. Can I tell you something, friend? There is a time that your spouse that you think loves this particular kind of thing will say, no, I don't like it anymore. It's not devilish, it's not satanic, it's just fulfillment of time. It's just the time for it. And so permit your man to be quiet when he feels he should be quiet. There's a time to be quiet and it's a time to talk. It's not all the time to talk. As a matter of fact, I read something there that it said the world divided into two classes of people. It said the first class are people who have nothing to say but they keep talking. And the other class are people who have much to say but they are quiet. They are not even talking. So I don't know which class you belong. There are people who have nothing to say, but they keep talking because they just must be talking. Permit your man to be out of it if it's a melancholy temperament. We'll get to that temperament thing. But this is important for you to understand. Design the cause of his mood change so that he can properly handle, mood change properly. Yes, this is one of the things. So let's look at point number 8. Point number 8, understand the characteristics of your spouse's temperament. Now, this temperament thing needs to be studied. Everyone must study it. People behave based on their temperament, except maybe I should say moderated, because some people know how to moderate, their temperament based on study and the knowledge content in them. So understand your spouses or your partner's temperament. There are 4 basic categories of temperament. We have the sanguine, we have the choleric, we have the phlegmatic, and then we have the melancholy. The sanguine, choleric, phlegmatic, and melancholy. Each of these categories of temperaments behaves differently. They behave differently. They react differently to issues at home. Hello, my dear husband, the PHCN people, what they call NEPA, somewhere in Nigeria. It says the PHCN people, they brought the light bill. And they say we're owing some, and then the man flares up. But they say this to another man who has a melancholy temperament. He said, okay, can I see the last bill? How much are we owing? Why are they bringing this? Detailed person. Melancholies are detailed people. The sanguines are always talking people. They can talk and forget their meal is already served by the waiter. The cholerics are, they are the public people. They want to shine. You look at them, notice me kind of people. And then you have the phlegmatic who is, I don't care, anything goes for me, my kind of people. Your husband or your wife could be one of these. You must understand how the characteristics of each of these classes and how they operate so that you can live well. You can supercharge, your relationships, okay? And I also mentioned, under this, I also mentioned the SWOT thing, SWOT, SWOT. Understand your husband or your wife's SWOT. The S is for strength. Your partner has his strength, areas of strength, and then he has areas of weakness. W is for weakness, and we have O for opportunities that are available to him, and then T for threats. There are threats against what? His opportunities. But you must understand, every person, you inclusive, you have a SWOT. What is your area of strength? You can develop it. What can you do to make it better? What's your area of weakness? You're not going to say that's how I am. Nobody is going to listen to that. Nobody takes that seriously. That's how I am. That's not how you are. That's how you left yourself. You could be better. You work on your weakness. Work on your weakness to improve so that you can get better, because your weaknesses are bringing you down some areas of life. Your weaknesses are denying you certain things in life. There are men who will never take their wives out there on a dinner that she's going to, spoil her dress with clothes and all those kind of things. And she's going to present herself in a very unpleasant way out there. And so they better do all the ceremonial too. It's denying you something, your weakness. So you work at your weakness, so as to improve. This is what is very, very important. Deliberately work at what? The area of your weakness. You can be better. You can get better. There's provision everywhere. There's so many things for one to, so many, I should say aids that can help you get better. Studies, books, videos, all kind of things. All right, God's gonna help us. Let's look at point number 9. The video is getting fast running. Point number 9 on how to supercharge your relationships. I said operate what I call the habit covenant as well as the habit contract. In your family, if you operate the habit covenant, what does the habit covenant entail? It means there are things you place on must-do lists or should-do lists or whatever. It could be could-do list. You have categorized things, you have prioritized things in your home, and you place these things under those categories. And then you said, this is a must-do. It must be an habit. It must be a covenant to yourself. I will not break this one. I must do this. Did you say, I'm going to speak to somebody every day? I'm going to pass a tract to somebody any day. I'm going to read at least a line every day. Of course, in my own home, I have things that are habit covenant. Things like family altar is not something non-negotiable. These are things we must do. It's a must do. No matter what's happening, it's a must do. Studying, is a must do in my home. So that's a habit covenant. Develop an habit covenant for yourself and for your spouse and all of that. And the habit contract comes in when you say, okay, hello there, hello my darling. When I do these things that I have set up for myself to do, then I'm free. But if not, I'm going to pay you for failure to carry out the covenants I have placed on myself, for the day. And something, if it is a monetary contract, trust me that your spouse will like it. He say, if I don't read this book, for this month, I don't read at least one book per month, then I'm going to, at the end of the month, I should be paying this amount of money. Trust me. Your partner will remind you. In fact, will make sure that somehow, you are reminded of the fact that you have not accomplished that covenant. So that's what it's called, a contract. Habit contract, and it's very, very good for a home. It helps you to hold your spouse accountable for the covenants that have been reached in the home. All right, these are things that improves relationships and sparkles marriage. God bless you. Let's look at point number 10. Commit to excellence. Commit to excellence. Commit to excellence. It's important, very, very important, to constantly improve. Excellence, constantly improve. In fact, the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion, to his commitment to excellence. The quality, no matter which area of life we're talking about, the quality of your life, not the quantity, but the quality of your life is in direct proportion, to your commitment to excellence. What's excellence? Try get better. Try to do it better. Try to understand better. Try to relate with people better. Try to, one way or the other, getting better. That's what I understand excellence to mean. I mean, this is just very, very important. Commit to excellence as an individual. And also commit to the excellence as a family. That this family want to get better in this area, that area, and all of that. So it sparkles your intimacy, and brings about a bonding real bonding between yourself and your spouse, a real gluing together between yourself and your spouse when you commit to excellence. Every man wants a woman that is constantly improving. So does a woman do. Every woman wants a man that is constantly advancing and improving in the way he's doing his things as far as the family is concerned. So commit to excellence. It sparkles relationship. Okay, let's look at point number 11. Leverage on what? Your spouse, teammate, or cooperation spirit. If you're opportune to have a spouse who cooperates with you, leverage on that. How do you leverage on that? Build on that, build on that cooperation and make things better, improve, advance, build on that. It's virtually impossible for you to reach the height of your capabilities without becoming good, at teamwork. It's virtually impossible for you to reach the height of your capabilities without, becoming good at teamwork. Leverage on the cooperation of your spouse. Build on the cooperation of your spouse. I want to read this book, so she's going to cooperate. She's going to remind me. She's going to quicken me. She's going to help me. She's going to assist me. All right, so leverage on that cooperation and then make yourself a lot more better. It's good, so good and sweet to have a partner that cooperates with you, that's a teammate, that doesn't see himself or herself as, somebody's there, it's me versus you kind of thing. No. There's someone who partners with you. It reminds you to do the things you have promised to do. It builds the union together and sparkles relationship. Who wouldn't like a woman who's always cooperating? I brought this to you because you were thinking of something the other day. This book, I found something in it to help you. Oh, I was passing through there and somebody told me so thing is in this book or this. Who wouldn't like that? Leverage on that and sparkle your marital relationships. Okay, let's look at point number 12. Gratitude and appreciation, to your spouse. Very, very important. Gratitude and appreciation to your spouse is one very important thing. Show gratitude. And some people, when you say show gratitude, they think it's all about just thank you. Thank you is part of it. Your husband cannot bring something home and you're looking at it, just this. And sometimes you do not even understand. That's a test to see whether you are appreciative. Be grateful for once. Be grateful, woman. Be grateful for once. Even if for nothing else, for preserving you, for giving you a home, for giving you a man that redeemed you from Miss and turned you to Mrs. You are a mother. Yes, you could be a mother, spreading your children all over the place. But here is a man that has redeemed you from spreading your children all over the place. Now you have children in one home, a legal home. It's time enough for you to appreciate the man, but also say that appreciation could be even through the you could also be grateful through the efforts you put in. If you help, this is to say, I'm saying thank you. You've been helping me. I'm helping you do this. You could be, grateful. You could show gratefulness by obedience, to directives. If you obey him, it means you are grateful. You're a grateful person. You could be grateful the way you dress. If that's what he wants. You could, that could mean that I'm dressing like this because I want to appreciate what my husband wants or what he wants. I want to meet up with that. You're a grateful person. Okay, you can also be grateful the way you act when you are out of home. There's a way that a woman may act out there and the man looked at her and said, stop it, it's okay. No, let me settle with her. Am I not a woman like herself? No. You don't appreciate your husband. You don't appreciate anything about him. And that's not good enough, okay? One of the ways of also, appreciating and being grateful to your man is by adding value to yourself. Make yourself the better wife he's got. He wants progressively, constantly improving woman. So make yourself a better person every day. That's one way of what? Showing gratitude. There are many ways to say thank you. All right, let's quickly look at point number 13 so that I don't overshoot time. Occasional what? Flexibility and adaptability is important for a home. Have a will to occasionally, once in a while, be flexible, especially for the men folk. Now, if you stand the rigid I, like we saw in Luke chapter 16, a man say, I I will build my barn, I will pull down my barn, I will do this, and I, and me, I and me. And I read it, I was able to locate, I think, eight of the I's and me within just a few verses of Luke chapter 16. I think that's verse 32 thereabout. I was able to look at because the egocentrism was strong, the I was strong. There's a time that just for the sake of togetherness, there's a time to do what? To willfully compromise the stand, step down on your rigid I, and say, okay, well, for the benefit of this relationship, let me listen to your opinion. Let me just listen to your opinion. Let's follow your way today and see how it works out. It reminds me of those who go on negotiation. I want husbands to look at their spouses as in a situation, a setting where there is negotiation. The labor unions, they want to negotiate with the authorities that for more money, or it's always more money, or one thing or the other. There is active listening. There's active listening. The government or whoever, even the labor unions, they are flexible enough to listen, even if the other partner is not making sense. At least in every nonsense, there's sense. Throw away the none. And so they listen. There's active listening, actively listening to your partner. And also notice when during these negotiations, there's mutual respect for each side. If it is government and labor union, the government side will respect the labor union. The labor union will have to respect the government authorities. This is the stand that should be in a home and all of that. And then some of the things I notice also is that there's assertiveness, there's confidence, there's assertiveness. The labor people know what they want. So your woman, you must know what you want and be ready to present your strong reasons, request for it in a proper way. Man, you will know what you want, not to use your authority as the head of the home to force it, but to present it in an acceptable way. And then there's the strategic planning. So the two parties must plan when they meet. How are we going to approach this person's opinion? What is he likely to say? There must be planning. There must be strategic planning, for marriage to go well. Woman strategically plan. Man strategically plan how to approach your wife. Somewhere we're saying somewhere that as soon as you have started sleeping with a woman, you become what? A mate. Technically, you have become a mate. So plan on how to convince her. In fact, I like the way the Bible puts it in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 21. And it said, produce your strong reasons. So when you come to the table, flexibility demands that you produce what? Strong reasons. Whoever has a stronger reason, let's try it out and see what your reasons, will bring up. If not, there's room for change and alteration. I think it was... who is that? Roger Fisher and William Ory is a dual author of a book that is titled Getting to Yes. Getting to Yes. Well, what does that mean? That you progressively, from the no point, I no go agree point of view, to a yes point, an agreement point, a point where there's let's say compromise. By compromise, you have come together. You have agreed that this is what is the consensus opinion of this our talk. Let's now implement this one. So it's very, very important. Adaptability, flexibility and adaptability willfully. Willful compromise in a home helps much in sparkling the relationship. Let's look at second to the last point, raising fast now. Second to the last point, functional family altar. Maintaining a functional family altar. I am not going to be able to overemphasize this because experience has shown in this life that people who are carefree or careless with their relationship with God, it's a matter of time you show that they don't make good, relationship partners. Never joke with your family altar. Whatever time has been fixed, gather the kids together. Husband and wife wake up and pray. Even if the sickness is so much, then that time must be sacrosanct. It must be honored, must be respected, and all of that. No carefreeness of any kind is tolerated for that system. A functional family altar, not to say conceptually, yes, we pray by 8 p.m. in the evening and 6 a.m. in the morning. Do you make sure it is functional? And this is important. To be a head is not just about, okay, running a home is just about there's enough of sex, there's enough of love, enough of money, enough of good time together, and all of this. Man shall not live by these things alone. The functional prayer, family altar is important, to really sparkle a relationship. Let's look at the last one, then we can call it off, okay? I call this one proper and adequate parenthood. Proper and adequate parenthood. It's a lot easy, to be a dad, but to be a father or to be a mother takes almost a lifetime. Yes, it takes a lifetime. It's a long time. So one has to plan very, very much. Plan very much. I'm saying proper what? An adequate parenthood in a home. Even if children are not coming yet, plan how to together agree for a proper and adequate parenthood. Because some people will think throwing around money in the home is all about, the fathers think that's all they have to do. Let the mom do it. No. Find time to check your children's books. Find time to inspect, their bags. Find time is important for the sparkle relationship, because if you don't, when the children have come, you're going to discover that the partner that is always doing it will look at the partner that has not been doing it as careless and carefree and irresponsible. You won't want that in your home. So it's a joint thing and all of that. And for those who think I know the facts, you can read up the facts in the book, but can I tell you, when facts and principles meet, facts bow to principles. Establish principles in your home. Principles are superior to facts. Don't just say, I know the thing. Once you pay your school fee, children will read the book and all of those things. No. Establish workable principles in your home, and you see that it's important. Did I also say under this point that parents and children, children expect their parents to be role models. Now, you don't expect, how many hours does your child spend in the Sunday school in church or in the class out there in school? You are the first role model that your child is expecting. So, father, mother, God bless you sincerely that as you implement these things and many more, which you have shared in over 20 of our videos and all of that, your marriage is going to be blissful. You sparkle your relationship. You make it exciting. You make it enviable. And neighbors want to say, oh, I love this man, I love this woman. They are working at a relationship. Nothing works until it is worked out. God bless you. We'll see you in the next video.